evening and welcome to another episode of Late Night with Lenette. I'm Lenette Peterson, your host. It seems our governor has a conflict of interest, and it's very disturbing to say the least. Our governor has joined the board of Directors for Achieve Incorporated. Now, Achieve is one of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation big dollar recipients that advocates for, of all things, Common Core standards. Earlier this year, the governor vetoed Senate Bill 101 that would have prohibited the implementation of the Common Core standards in New Hampshire. Oh, shame on you, Governor. This could be an ethics violation under legislative ethics, possibly. Under executive ethics, shouldn't decisions like this be referred to the Attorney General? I mean, why do we have him in the first place? He would then report to the governor. It's obvious that Governor Hassan has her own agenda, and it does not include what's best for New Hampshire or New Hampshire taxpayers. It's time to just say no to Maggie, no matter what office she decides to run for. Time for a new hobby, Governor. Now on to Hillary. She's precious. What an embarrassment, to say the least. She is desperate to raise her popularity. She's dropping in the polls to, of all people, but Bernie Sanders, and will stop at nothing. Her latest is back to the illustrious war on women. This is pathetic. She's accusing all Republicans of being against women. Really, Hillary? Now, folks, if we look at the phrase, the war on women, it started way back in March of 2011 by the one and only Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who just happens to be the National Democratic Chairwoman. Folks, if you look at the term literally, the war on women is being masterminded by the Democrats themselves. The first definition that came up when I Googled war on women, and it says here, I'm going to read the quote, when voters don't have to pay for other women's birth control or abortions, and voters and citizens believe that other women can purchase their own condoms, birth control pills, and abortions. And it adds, the term war on women was a fictitious scenario and scare tactic invented by leftists and Democratic strategists in an attempt to demonize and marginalize Republican political candidates for office. It gets even better. Obama, for the 2012 re-election campaign, there's a war on women. You must vote for Obama. Otherwise, all women's rights will disappear. That's a direct quote from our president. Turn back the hands of time to his election campaign for 2008. And this is a quote. If you don't have any fresh ideas, then you use stale tactics to scare the voters. If you don't have a record to run on, then you paint your opponent as someone people should run from. Obama, ironically, predicting tactics of his own 2012 re-election campaign. Gotta love the liberal left. Those definitions and comments came from the first definition that came up as I Googled, and that was from the Urban Dictionary. Folks, just say no to hilarious Clinton and her war on women. My guest this evening, the one, the only, Merrimack's Town Manager, Eileen Cabanel. Cabanel. I always say that wrong. Welcome to my show. I always want to say Cap, but it's Cab. And I have it written right here, Cabanel.
Yeah. I've been called cannibal before, which is not good.
Yeah, that is not good. But I always do that. All day when I was talking to Justin, I kept saying P.
That's all right.
Oh, let's see. You've been the town manager since 2011, coming from the town of Laconia.
City.
Oh, that's right. Yes. City of Laconia. Yes, because it says right here.
Yeah.
You were the finance director at first, then the assistant city manager, and then city manager for 10 years?
City manager for 10 years, yeah.
Yep, so at first the finance director, then assistant city manager? Or were they
well,
one and the same?
It was finance director and assistant city manager, both titles.
Oh.
And then they looked for somebody for 18 months, and I did both jobs.
Oh, wow.
And for 18 months, and then I took the city manager job.
Now, did you get both salaries for 18 months?
Good one. Good one.
Just a thought. Now, was it a tough transition after being in the gorgeous Lakes region for so long and then moving to the Nashua area?
It's very, very different.
Yeah.
Very different. I've had some. Before I went to work for Laconia, I actually worked as finance director for the city of Somersworth for 9 years.
Yep, that's over by Rochester.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's a very poor town. And then a city, and then I worked for the Lakes region, and it's you'd be surprised. You'd think that it was a very, very wealthy city, but it is not.
No.
There's such a wide variety of haves and have-nots. Most of the social services are there, so there's a lot of and there's a lot of crime and that kind of thing. You'd be
and
really
lately
be
there's been a lot of drug use up there. I mean, that's it seems the heroin problem is really bad in the Laconia area.
Here, like I said, it's very, very different. The economic development climate, for instance, is booming around here, whereas in Laconia, because it was in the middle of nowhere and nowhere near a highway, they really they were grateful to get the Walgreens or something.
Oh,
like
I bet.
that.
They always did Bike Week.
Yeah, Bike Week.
Yeah, now that's a big money maker for that area.
No, for the area, yeah, but for the city, no.
Really?
No, we just barely broke even.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, I would have thought since it's called, isn't it called Laconia Bike Week? No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not a moneymaker for them.
For the property owners, and for the people that live around there, for the businesses and all that kind of thing, all around the city, in the whole area, it's a boon for business. But the city was just a break-even proposition.
Wow. Yeah, you figure you get the extra police on duty. And
you got to put them up at hotels.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And their rates that they get for they have to get the extra duty rates, whatever which they can be, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, but it as time went on, it got milder and milder. So there was less of a police presence.
I read an article. My husband and I were reading an article on that. I guess it used to be really wild, Bike Week, and now they're all getting older and they're no longer the motorcycle thugs they used to be.
Well, when I moved, I was born in New Hampshire, so when I was a kid and a teenager, we would never go anywhere near Laconia during Bike Week.
Oh, too funny.
People would be like camped on the sides of the road, and you didn't know what was going on, and I would go down there myself. I'd just walk around.
Yeah, too funny. Yeah, we just read an article on that this summer. I think it was just after Bike Week, or just before, and they were comparing how it's toned down quite a bit from even just like 30 years ago. Yeah. Oh, too funny. Now, so what made you decide on Merrimack from Laconia after so long? Was it just so long?
Yeah, the first thing I always look at is, where is this job in relation to my daughter? Because as I was saying to you before, my daughter is my best friend, and I now have a granddaughter. She's 6, and so I like to see them whenever I can. I usually see them every weekend, and it makes it much more convenient. She lives in Raymond, so as I said, that's always my first thing that I look at. And I really like the economic development aspect of being a city manager, town manager, and Merrimack just offers all kinds of opportunities to, participate in that kind of thing, because people, as I said, business is booming. Yeah.
Now, what exactly does a town manager do? I mean, everyone's probably heard of the town manager, and they see you when they watch the town council meetings. What do you do?
Well, I am the administrative head of the town. So the town council sets the policy. The people have set the charter, which kind of outlines guides the council on what they should do. They set the policies. I follow the policies, and we set goals every year. We want to accomplish this, this, and this, and I'm the council's only employee, and all of the rest of the employees work for me. Oh,
wow. Now, can you veto anything that they approve or disapprove?
Oh, no.
No. No. Is it like a?
No, they're in charge of me. They're definitely my bosses.
So they're like the executive council with the governor.
I'm not really sure how that works,
Yeah,
but they're definitely my boss.
Now, is the town manager similar to like a city mayor, except for the election?
There were several versions of that.
Mm-hmm.
So in both cities that I worked in, the mayor was a figurehead.
Ah, gotcha.
So
it's like our governor.
I'm gonna go there. So so the mayor was figurehead, wasn't a full-time person, but around. So yes, it's like a mayor, but with less power because you don't have politics, you don't have people voting you in and out. You, your livelihood is based on the approval of the city, the town council.
Yeah, I was just going to say. Now they're the ones that hired you, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
And I worked directly for them.
Gotcha. I know whenever I watch the town council meetings, you're always right there.
Yes.
Well, very good. Now, the Merrimack Outlet Mall, do you think that's filling expectations, or has it been a disappointment?
I don't know what the expectations were, because when I first came here, I had heard all of the, all of the unrest and all the things that went on prior to that, having to do with kind of marring the landscape and traffic and all that kind of thing. So when I came in, it was, people had already acknowledged that the mall was coming, and there seemed to be some anticipation there for what was going to be there, what it was going to look like, and all that kind of thing. So it seems to be much better than expected in terms of crime. There's very little crime there. The police, as a regular part of their patrol, they drive around there. They have their own substation over there, so they can do some of their paperwork just sitting at the mall, walking around, saying hello to people, making a presence known, and that kind of thing. And consequently, there's very little crime. The mall is kept beautifully. It has a value of $90 million, which helps the tax rate, but as you probably know, the town only gets 22% of the tax value.
I was not a fan of the mall. I think that's going to affect my water table. We have a well, and that's a lot of flushing that goes on up there. But now that it's there, it has to thrive. Or, I mean, we have too much empty store frontage as it is.
Haven't seen it diminishing.
No, and it's great whenever a store does close, because they've had a few. It fills right back up again. And there are actually stores in the waiting list. I worked up at the outlet mall for a couple of years when it first opened, and both my daughters.
Amazing how quickly
that
time went by.
Yeah, I was there for 2 years, and it's funny. There were some days I never waited on a U.S. citizen. I had customers from all over the world. They come from buses from Canada, and when you're paying the sales tax that the Canadians are paying, New Hampshire looks very attractive.
And it's a beautiful setting.
Oh yeah, the only thing that's not beautiful about it is outdoors. Winter up at that mall, it's a morgue. I remember working 4-hour shifts in the winter, and I never saw a customer.
No kidding.
Not one would grace the door, and that makes for a long shift.
But there's although no formal plans have come forward, there's talk about bringing in another 100,000 square feet of retail space.
That's what I heard.
And to put that in perspective, right now there's approximately 500,000 square feet of retail space, and this would add another 100, about 20%.
Yeah, I guess they were saying there's maybe 3 different phases. They're going to do that lower pocket where the lower area is when you come in. That's supposed to have stores or something.
One of them, there were 3 pad sites. One was the mall itself with a potential expansion, which is what I was talking about, 100,000, and I'm not exactly sure where that is. Then there was the restaurant site, which is filled, kind of different than I might have thought.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
With the bank and that kind of thing. And then there's the hotel site.
Right, and that's the lower one, is the hotel site.
And interestingly enough, somebody bought that. Back from the mall.
Wow. So they're going to do something different than have that with the mall?
The mall actually sold off the restaurant piece as well.
Oh, wow.
So they weren't really interested in developing a hotel or developing the restaurants. They just wanted, they knew that those things together made sense.
Yeah. And with the little hotel down the street, what's Quality Inn or no?
Sure.
Or a Holiday Inn. It's right behind the Burger King.
Yeah,
I mean,
the Holiday Inn Express.
Yeah. There's a hotel close enough. I mean, why put another one there? That'll just hurt business at the other hotel.
I don't think so, though.
No?
I mean, if you think about it, with as you said, all these people from Canada and various places coming.
Yeah.
We also have a couple of businesses in town that fly their executives in to the Atrium Medical. They're what's their name now? I can't. Maquette. They make devices, medical devices, and they fly in. They do research and development, and they fly in doctors from all over the world.
Oh, wow!
And so they want to have. They're putting people up in Boston and busing them in.
Wow. Well, it's funny, down in Boston, the hotels in Boston give welcome packets to the mall to their customers down in Boston. Because people would bring all these coupons. I worked for Reebok. Yeah. And I said, where are you getting this stuff? Oh, our hotel in Boston. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, very good. Now, what is the most exciting part of your job, or the most fun part of being the town manager?
Well, some people might think that it would be kind of a glamorous, maybe like a big shot kind of thing. But a lot of times, there are times when you really feel like you have a target on your back rather than the other way around. But personally, if I get a chance to help somebody, I know it sounds really corny and everything, but if somebody comes into my office, my door's always open, and I sit and talk to the person. I help them to try and understand whatever it is that they need. I bring the department heads in to help, if I don't have the expertise on what they're looking for, and that is one of the things that I enjoy doing the most.
Oh, very good. Now, you said that you usually have a target on your back. So my next
question,
usually, but my next question: what's the worst part of your job?
I guess the worst part is has been in the past. It isn't right now, because we have a very, very good, cohesive town council. Even though they don't always agree, they're very respectful of each other. But I've had, in Laconia, I had every 2 years, the mayor and all the council members were up for election, all at the same time.
Oh, wow.
So you could change the entire
that'd
thing
be
every
tough.
2 years.
Yeah.
So you could get a really rough bunch, and they could all be at cross purposes, so you couldn't get a direction to go in. So you have like 7 bosses that are trying to pull you in different directions.
Yeah, I like Merrimack's way of doing it, where it's a couple seats every year, and not a complete washout. Yeah, that could be tough. Oh.
Yeah, and personnel issues are tough too.
Oh, I'm sure.
We have 6 union contracts, and everyone has its own nuances, and there are tough decisions that have to be made, and that kind of thing.
Now, as town manager, do you have any say at all in the Kinder Morgan pipeline coming through? I mean,
does anyone?
Yeah, really. Now, do they ever directly contact you to ask?
If I could tell you the number of hours I have spent on this pipeline, oh my goodness, hours and hours and hours. Just belonging to different groups, monitoring what's going on. We've hired an attorney, survey agreements, studies that we're having performed, all the monitoring what's going on in the New Hampshire PUC as it relates to Liberty Utilities and the pipeline. And there's so many pieces and parts. You have a certain route that's been planned out, and then you try and work with the other communities that are affected, and then For instance, Amherst has modified the route or proposed to modify the route greatly, which would greatly affect what would happen in Merrimack.
Oh wow!
So you know, you have to keep track of all those kinds of things.
Oh yeah, and all this came about just because Massachusetts, the towns in Massachusetts said no. So let's dump on New Hampshire.
And their governor.
Yeah, and their governor. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I can remember going to the meeting back in, was it March? Yeah. And
there were about 450 people there.
Yeah. What a fiasco. They definitely didn't do their homework. To me, it was like they just, okay, well, that plan failed. Let's do this. And yeah, that doesn't really work.
Well, I think the thing that frustrates me the most is that they're not forthcoming with information, for one thing. And for another thing, it's almost like they have a blank checkbook with a blank canvas on which to write. The Federal Energy Regulatory Commission seems to just almost like rubber stamp something like that.
Wow.
And what's so there are several other pipeline proposals or energy, I should say, energy proposals such as Northern Path, which is hydro coming from Canada, and those kinds of things, which will bring you know, energy and obviously lower prices for our businesses in New Hampshire and residents. And before. And they're all what they call co-located, so they're not going across virgin territory and digging through different places. They're, you know, I was told by one of the Kinder Morgan representatives this is the largest greenfield project in the United States. Wow. And so rather than looking at all those individual energy source projects and saying, does this satisfy New Hampshire's needs, they just are just rolling on through.
Yeah, and it doesn't meet New Hampshire needs because there's not even a valve to give New Hampshire any benefit. That's right. It all goes to Massachusetts.
Yeah, and poor New Ipswich, the biggest compressor station that they've ever built is being built in that tiny town.
Oh, I know it. It's going to be an eyesore.
But the sound and yeah, that's
crazy. Crazy.
And how do you fight that?
Yeah. You know, how do you fight big dollars, big bucks?
Well, not only that, but so a couple of Fridays ago, we had a resource report came out. What they do is there's all these different resource reports that come out that are required by the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, who is the last word. And the representative from this FERC, I'll call him, has even said to me that he does not, his organization does not work for the Congress, and they do not even work for the President of the United States, nor do they answer to either one.
Wow.
They only answer to the court system.
Huh.
So, you know, so anyway, all these resource reports come out. As you can imagine, Kinder Morgan's got thousands of employees, I'm sure, and they're filling out all this technical information, and then they submit it to FERC. And FERC has, again, all this technical information. It's thousands of pages of documents.
Wow.
So it comes in on a Friday, and on a Tuesday or Wednesday the following week, there's the scoping meetings. You're supposed to ask questions. I'm a regular person.
Yeah, no kidding.
I can't, not only do I not have time to read thousands of pages, but how am I even going to understand it?
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
To ask questions on it.
Wow. Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyway, it's been very, very frustrating.
Oh, I bet. And now they had it, and I saw in the paper just recently. There's going to be another meeting in Merrimack. It's in September at the VFW, I think it was.
No, you're thinking about the medical marijuana plant.
Oh.
No. You're right. I didn't mean to bring that up. But anyway, no.
That was my next question.
No.
Now, isn't there one on the pipeline coming up?
Yes, you're right. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. It's at the American Legion.
Yeah,
And
I think it's in September. I didn't write the date down.
but it's really almost like a silly
Yeah.
kind of thing. They did this before. Tom Hahn, who's on
Right.
the council, calls them craft fairs. You know, what they do is they'll set each person up of a different discipline. So I'm a chemist, I'm a land agent, I'm a construction guy, I'm, a pipeline person, I'm a water guy, and if you have questions about a particular discipline, you go to that
Like a craft
station.
fair.
Right, exactly.
I like that.
I liked it too. I use it often. But
Now
I do attribute it to him.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Now you did bring up my next question. You thought you were going to go. What do you think of the medical marijuana, place coming to Merrimack?
I am not in my position. I'm not entitled to an opinion.
Oh, there you go.
So
you get off.
No,
off the
I
hook.
won't get off my. I won't get off my hook. I'll tell you whatever you want to know about what I've learned about it. But as far as an opinion, it's really a political question, and I never answer political questions.
Now, town council is the one that would either approve it or disapprove it, I would guess.
No, no one can disapprove it.
Oh, wow. Wow. So if they decide it's coming, it's coming. Interesting.
Yeah. By law, it's allowed in a zone that is that includes retail pharmacies.
Wow. Well, I guess the town council, planning board, and zoning board could red tape them to death, and maybe they'd give up and go somewhere else.
Yeah, no,
Maybe?
they've picked their location.
wow.
They've already decided that this is where it's going to be.
So it's a done deal.
It really is, yeah.
Wow.
So we tried when we started hearing that, but people all over the state heard that. It's going to be in this town, it's going to be in that term. But when we actually started hearing from the lawyers and things like that, we decided that we were going to put together a set of our own zoning amendments for that type of facility.
Oh, very good.
So they're very strict rules about that type of facility.
Right. Planning ahead.
Yes.
Very good.
And so there's zoning changes afoot for that type of facility.
Oh, very good. Yeah, something like that really needs to be
very strict.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, very regulated and under control. And
You're right.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, it was surprising. I learned a lot of things that people will learn at the public hearing that's going to be held on that. It's,
and I don't remember when
it's
that
not
one
different.
is. Oh, is that one even scheduled?
It is.
Yeah, I don't remember when that one was.
I think it's the 24th. I think it's the 24th.
Okay, yeah.
But have people look on the website. It'll be posted.
You can always
on
look
there.
on the town website.
Yeah,
for,
there are actually 3 meetings, so don't be confused. 2 of them have to do with zoning amendments. One's at the planning board and one's at the town council. And those really are just those rules that I was talking to you about.
Yep.
Making the rules stricter. But the one to attend, really, if anybody wanted to voice their opinion on the idea of a medical marijuana facility, dispensary,
yes.
being here, then they need to come to that public hearing. And what will happen is it'll be opened up by the town council chair and then turned over to somebody from the State Department of Health and Human Services and the owners of this business.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Interesting. Never a dull moment in Merrimack.
No, it isn't.
No. Well, we are out of time.
My goodness.
Goes by quick,
Just
doesn't
like
it?
you said.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, I thank you so much for being on my show.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Late Night with Lenette. Look for a new episode next week. Good night and God bless.
Thank you.